So, I guess if somebody were to ask me what does progress physically look like in the city of West Lafayette, well, today, specifically at the intersection of Salisbury and Navajo, I would say it looks like broken up concrete, torn up sidewalks, smeared out asphalt, bumps taken away, bumps added, and very noisy and busy construction people. That is progress in the city of West Lafayette on June 2nd, 2014. Well, hello everybody, and welcome to yet another fun, educational, and entertaining episode of Fun with the Mayor. Today we have with us our wonderful, our educated, our entertaining, and our also very active Public Works Director, Dave Buck. Hey Dave, we're standing out here in the middle of Salisbury and Navajo. It's kind of rainy, it's kind of windy, and above all else, it's kind of noisy. What are we doing here?
Well, we're tearing out the old road. The contractor started this morning with closing southbound for traffic, and they're rubblizing the concrete. They've milled off the old asphalt, and they're rubblizing the concrete so we can use that as stone base. And we're actually going to raise the intersection up about 2 feet behind us, so it will look completely different when we're done here in about a month with this side.
Okay, this is probably one of our more visible projects this summer. Obviously, a lot of folks have given us some very important guidance about this particular intersection. Actually, they've been giving that guidance to us at least for almost 8 years in my experience, and probably longer in yours. When we prioritize a project, what do we use? What sort of system do we use to prioritize a project? And then when we get to the point we're actually going to break ground, what else is involved in making that final determination?
There is a lot of planning that goes into the beginning of a project, from the need being a bad condition of a road or lack of ADA compliance or not enough capacity. A lot of those all factored in for this project on Salisbury Street because of the proximity of the two traffic signals being so close that during rush hour, both in the morning and the afternoon, the signal at 52 can't keep up with the signal at Navajo and vice versa, and so we have traffic jams on our little streets here in West Lafayette. That goes into a listing of all the projects citywide that we do, and it gets in line for funding. There are multiple funding sources that this project is using, from the Sagamore TIF to MVH, and even Levy Village TIF is assisting with the signal coordination and the ATMS component of this project. So it's really an all hands on deck approach, both in terms of the priorities that we're trying to accomplish with the project, but also the funding mechanisms that we use to be able to pay for it.
Now, you've been a very busy guy since we've been together. We've made it sort of one of our primary agenda items to go ahead and see if we can touch every major road in this city, get it upgraded, get it ADA compliant, make sure that it's safe, make sure that traffic flows more smoothly, make sure that there's sort of a coordinated look and appearance. Is that where your hair's gone?
I had longer hair than you when you started this.
Let's see, once again, leadership by baldness.
Yeah, right.
So how have we been able to do so much in really a relatively short period of time?
Well, we've been fiscally responsible with what we've done, so we're not overspending on what we're doing. We're engineering it well so that it's a good value for our investment dollar, but we've been saving for a long time and planning for these big projects to go like big dominoes. And Salisbury Street's the first one, and it's going to be pretty quick in terms of the duration compared to the projects that come after it. So Cumberland Avenue, we open bids on that in about a week. That will last for a good year, if not year and a half, and then in July, NDOT will open bids for us for our Happy Hollow reconstruction project, which is about a $5 or $6 million project, and it's even bigger than Cumberland. So, and will take just as long, if not maybe even 2 years. So, depends on the weather and how progress goes with the contractor. Utility coordination is another big thing that can affect our schedules, but it's been years of planning and years of saving.
Now, obviously, I mean, there's much more that goes on with the Public Works Director than just breaking up concrete and putting down smooth asphalt. What else do you do? What else are you responsible for? And what else do you actually spend a lot of your time on that makes West Lafayette such a great place?
Sanitary, stormwater, the city utilities that we have underground, the street department, sanitation department, really everything in the built environment I'm involved in some way to help make sure that we're coordinating everything, from even on an IT level. This project with the signals involves our IT department and our facilities folks, because the signals will connect by fiber optics, and so every controller will collect data 24/7, and we can report that data back to eventually a central controller system that then we can adjust timings based on that data and what we're seeing with traffic flow for the time of day or the time of year, changes in seasons. And we can help reroute traffic during an accident or even during a football game or after a football game. So it's really kind of limitless.
Well, and one of the things we've had actually been able to realize over the past few years is exponential growth within our city. So not only are you responsible for the roads and the plumbing that hooks up to the houses, but you're also responsible for buildings and houses and such, correct?
Right. Yeah, the planning end of things in our department involves the building department. It involves zoning and planning for how land is going to get used and just the future of the city as things develop for the first time from farm fields or redevelop in terms of taking something existing and turning it into something new.
Again, another sort of misconception on the part of the city is that we actually physically control everything that's built within this city, and there couldn't be anything further from the truth. So if somebody, hypothetically, if somebody wanted to put a building that we felt would not necessarily fit within, did you know that guy?
Oh yeah.
Oh, good.
Brian, he's the foreman.
Hey Brian. If somebody physically was trying to put something within the boundaries of our city that just did not work, but it was on private property, the person owned the property,
Yep.
What sort of authority would we have to try and intervene in that project?
Depends on what it is. Obviously, every situation is unique. There are different codes that require and regulate how land is used, from the size of a sign that somebody could have or the type of use they can use their property for. We do, as a community, have a zoning ordinance which doesn't allow certain uses in some places and does allow uses in other places. And so it cannot disallow something, but it can regulate, the zoning can regulate where something is more acceptable or appropriate based on the community's adoption of the overall plan. And so we enforce that ordinance so that if something comes in and it's not allowed, their building permit is denied, or they're allowed to submit for a variance if it's possible that something could be a variance, or another special exception, or even rezoning the property. And so we help them through that process through the Area Plan Commission's office.
And something else that you've been very good in assisting me with is city planning. This year we have had, I guess, our first real-time experience with our annexation. Purdue University is now within the city limits of West Lafayette. There is a lot of blank space out there. We're dealing with 40,000 new citizens, basically, when the students are in session. And we're also dealing with heavier traffic flow, more roads. Basically, we just doubled our geographic footprint and the responsibility for that footprint in one fell swoop. What do we do about that? How do we sort of coordinate our planning, and how do we sort of make sure that the success that we've had is going to continue when we talk about road safety, pedestrian and bike safety?
Well, we've had a very good relationship with Purdue for quite some time, as well as the county. And in doing my job, working with the county highway department or my counterparts at Purdue, we stay on the same page with the road projects and the infrastructure project that they're working on and that we're working on, so that we know where we're both at. And the county just completed Cumberland Avenue Extension. They're in the design phases for Lindbergh Road west of 231, as well as Klondike Road between Lindbergh and 52, and we're involved in those meetings with the county and playing a role in helping craft and shape those projects. And likewise with Purdue. So Purdue's looking at some various projects on campus, and they're communicating with us so that we know what their sanitary sewer needs are, or what their traffic and transportation needs are, so that we can end up with basically a better result for less than the overall input of, basically 1 + 1 = 3 is what we've said a lot of. And if we each contribute a little bit, we'll get something greater accomplished than we could either one do individually. And I think that spirit has led to basically a plan that will hopefully be solid for the future going forward for the growth of this community.
Great stuff. Now, you're technically a PE, which is a professional engineer. Do you know how to run trains? I mean, seriously, the only engineer that I know is the guy that sits in the front of a train, has that funky hat on, hits the whistle. Uh-oh. You are what?
I am a Boilermaker, so.
This is John Dennis and Public Works Director Dave Buck on yet another wonderful and entertaining Fun with the Mayor episode. Say hi to the policeman. Hi, policeman. Now, if I could find my city engineer. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at this gentleman walking down us, he's wearing the red shirt and the khaki pants. That is a stride of confidence. That's a stride of education. That is a stride of knowledge. That's the stride of experience. That's the side of a very bald man. Knock, knock. Who's there? Not Dave's hair.
This is going to be over real quick. What are you doing?
Nothing, buddy. Hi.
You're like pushing me up against the wall here. I feel a little uncomfortable. You're in my personal space.
Hi.
Pressure's on.
Or better yet. All right, Dave, let's talk about roads and streets. What do you,